Here we go. Oh, all righty. You are looking live. It's sold out MetLife Stadium where today the 16-0 and playoff bound New York Giants will be taking on the 0-16 Dallas Cowboys. And why the Dallas Cowboys 0-16? Because they suck. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all is going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching a replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. I'm going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight. Shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Oh, what's up, Jersey guy? Jersey guy's in the house. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free. Fire away, throw it in the chat box. Usually try to check on the chat box like every 5 or 10 minutes or so. So, yes, as soon as I see something in there, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. So please feel free, fire away. Plus, also, it's nice, instead of me just rambling on for half an hour or 45 minutes, or I think last time it was like an hour and 10 minutes, I think last time. It's just nice to talk to another Giant fan. So please feel free, fire away. Before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below. Top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon, second one's called the Lawrence Taylor, and the third one's called Gridiron. Oh, and my buddy Randy's here. Oh, I got to move the chair. Yeah, can't start the video without Randy. Oh, there we go. All right, Randy's here. Okay, we can begin. That's it. All the membership levels got their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel out, I thank you in advance. It means so much to me. Thank you. If you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. I can use all the support I can get, guys. But if not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon. That way, next time I go live or put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed, thank you. And then finally, also in the description box is 2 Facebook links. The top one takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. And I say this in every video. Basically, my YouTube channel, my Facebook group, my Facebook page, it's all called the same thing. It dumbs it down for a moron like me. That way I don't, what's my YouTube channel called? Was my Facebook page called something different than the Facebook group? It's all called the same thing. It makes it nice and easy for me. We have over 5,600 members in the group. It's growing strong. Like every 2 or 3 days, we're going up like another 100 members. It just seems like it's like once now the football season is upon us, the membership is growing, right? And usually what it is once I get done going live here, I'll spend like the next couple hours like putting stuff in the group here and putting stuff in the page, which I'll go over in just a minute. Now, now the season's upon us. I'm probably between like maybe videos and pictures and posts and stats and just sharing articles and putting stuff in there, making fun of the Eagles and the Cowboys. I get like probably like 20 things every day in there. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing and if I got internet access, there's stuff going in here. It's darn near almost 365. There's a ton of stuff. And you become a member of the group. Not only do I put stuff in there, but there was about 3 or 4 or 5 things from members got put in here as well today too. So there's a ton of stuff going in here every day. And the second Facebook link takes you to my Facebook page. All right. I'm the administrator in there. So I'm the only one that wanted to post anything in there, but it's the same thing. Once I get done going live here, between the group and the pages, same thing with the page. I try to get like 20 different, usually 10 in the off season, but now that the season is upon us, I try to get like maybe closer to 20 things every day in there. As I said, once I'm sharing articles, a post, a picture, a video, something just showing some stats on a ball player. Once again, something making fun of the Eagles or the Cowboys, which are my personal favorites, right? There's a ton of New York Giants information going in there every day. Basically, as I said, almost 365, right? But I don't commingle them. So basically the stuff I put in the page, I don't put in the group. Whatever I put in the group, I don't put in the page. So if, I said it's totally different stuff, right? So if you go to the page and you like it and you follow it and you go to the group and you become a member, darn near 365, there's a ton of Giants information every day, right? But it can't satisfy everybody. So I got my money back guarantee. If you go to the page and you like it and you follow it and you go to the group and you become a member, if you're not 100%, you get your money back guaranteed. Oh, man, that crap cracks me up. All right, well. Oh, what's up, Terrence? What's going on, guys? I'm also concerned about a rookie center calling. Yeah, well, I mean, that's what Well, we got I can believe had that clown Mike Lombardi on the channel, and then let him get away without talking about the disease of me. Oh yeah, the disease of me. Oh yeah. Well, was that last year? When was that? When was Lombardi saying that? Yeah, I mean the disease of me. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Well, there's of course there's the two things. It's got me. It's I mean it is what it is. There was this. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, Lombardi needs to keep his mouth shut. I guess maybe worry about the disease of himself. Try checking that out. Huh? But the thing is, like with the line, now of course you got the two things, and P. Paul Dottino, right? And a bunch of other people, because they got their defensive front is just stellar. Of course, you got Micah Parsons, who's like another. Of course, we could have had him, but it is what it is, guys. But he likes to run stunts and twists and this and that and everything. So of course there's the two thing. Obviously, now you got Neal, who got eaten up last year, especially when we were at home last year, right? Lawrence, I think, had was it 3 sacks on him or whatever. But then of course you got Micah Parsons, who just might be, you don't know where that freaking guy's going to come, but you do know that it's a lot of it's going to wind up revolving probably around the center, and the and maybe Evan Neal. Now they're not going to keep sending everybody over Neal all the time, because that would be just kind of stupid, because then what they were talking about on Big Blue Kickoff Live today, and I think Patty Traynor had P. Dot on as well too. He was talking about they're not just going to keep rushing Micah Parsons. Actually, Paul Dottino is kind of making fun, because he's like he talked about that the team from Connecticut. Well, I forgot where in Connecticut they're located. I forgot what he said, but somebody up there was talking about just line Micah Parsons up Evan Neal every play, and you're going to get 1,000 cents. Well, I mean, you can't do that, because you put them on Evan Neal. Well, then the Giants, okay, all right, well, we'll just put it back over there too, or something, or help chip them or something. And they're not going to do that. They're going to have them all over the place, right? But I mean, the thing, they're going to try to confuse the heck out of Michael Schmitz, that's for sure. Oh, because he's going to be calling protections and everything. How he wants the line to slide and this, that, and the other. So he'll have them sliding this way, and then they'll have the twist and the stunts will be coming from this side, and everybody will be over here looking for guys. They're all becoming, yeah. So it's going to be baptism by fire. I believe that's what you call it, right? But it is what it is, right? It is what it is. It's only going to make them better. Get Quinn will attack our interior. Oh, that too. Yeah, I mean, the interior is going to, around, when Neal's at, he'll probably send nobody by Andrew Thomas. But he'll probably stunt their weakest pass rusher to go against Andrew Thomas. Right, and everybody else will be, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be a chess match. It's gonna be the same thing like what Wink does, right? I mean, Wink's gonna walk guys up to the line of scrimmage. Azeez Ojulari is gonna be somewhere in the mix. Maybe not every play, obviously, but he's gonna be walking guys up and this, that, and the other thing. And Dak's gonna be, they're gonna be calling their protection, and Dak's all right. We got 6 guys here. Who's coming? Who's not? You know what I mean? Pretty good, fair chance Dexter's not going to drop into coverage or nothing like that. But, Kayvon could drop in. Azeez might drop. Somebody else might come, But Paul Dottino was also mentioning, too, that, like with Isaiah Simmons, he firmly believes this, is that, you don't want to have 5 offensive linemen And then, we got Azeez Ojulari, Kayvon Thibodeau, Leo Line, and Dexter Lawrence. And then you walk Isaiah Simmons up. So now you got 5 against their 5, and Isaiah Simmons runs straight ahead into somebody. He said his speed doesn't translate into power, like how like Lawrence Taylor could just like run and just, if he got underneath it, he could just push a tackle straight on. I mean, if Lawrence Taylor was healthy and and in his prime and all of that, there weren't many guys who could block him one-on-one. I mean, he either get around you or you can just like kind of walk you right back into the quarterback. Isaiah Simmons not quite that kind of a beast. He's got speed and athleticism and all that stuff and everything. But Paul Dottino was saying, like, if you just line him up straight over a center, a 300-pound center or whatever, 310 or whatever like that, he'll run and boom, he'll get stonewalled. So you want to try to scheme him. I mean, like what they did against the Jets, right? You had the 2 guys, he was on the outside. So what happened when Rodgers snapped the ball back? Who was left there to block Simmons? A running back. Mismatch, right? If he can scheme him up where he's on a running back, mismatch. If he can scheme him up against maybe a tight end, mismatch. If he can, if he starts over here, but then he stunts or twists or something, where he's like, coming around somebody or something like that, that's good too. But basically, what he's saying is you don't want to just walk him up to the line of scrimmage, have him over the center or something like that, and just have him try to, straight up one-on-one overpower center or guard or something. Like I said, that's a losing battle there. But it's gonna be interesting. Gonna be real fun. A lot of fun. Absolutely. But Simmons was missed. Well, I'd say we're talking about that too. Yeah, that they seem that Paul Dottino was seeing that too. That they were just. He said that for he said for 3 years they were misusing him. So I mean, I'm sure Wink seems to get the best out of the guys. And as I think I was talking about that, I don't know what it was, maybe Saturday, whatever it was. I mean, Wink is one of the videos I was doing like last week. What does he do? What does he do best? Well, he does this best. He does this best, and maybe this. Okay, well, that's what we're going to have the guy do. It's not like And he asked him, "What do you like to do? I like to rush the quarterback." Okay, all right, that's cool. He doesn't take a square peg and try to shove into a round hole. It's not like this is my defense. We brought you in to be the edge, set the edge. You're setting the edge. If you can't do it, I guess you're screwed. Then what I mean. He's just gonna, whatever is the best for the, setting up the player to be successful. That's what Winkle, do. And I mean, if you can use Simmons, if you get him in the right way, I mean, what an athlete he is. Just the speed he has and all and everything. If you can use him correctly, he's going to get he'll get some nice numbers there. But I mean, let's not forget. I mean, even if he got misused in Arizona, I mean, last year he had 99 tackles. I mean, okay, I'll take that. I think the year before, I think he had 105. Hey, man, misuse a guy and he gets 105 tackles. That's not too bad. And let's not forget, I mean, the guy doesn't miss any games. So, I mean, I don't want to, hold on. Let me knock on wood. I don't want to jinx nobody, but, the guys stayed relatively healthy. So, I mean, for a 7th-round pick, going to cost you $1 million this season. I think the Giants got themselves a heck of a bargain. Hopefully, we wind up keeping them because it would also look kind of, wouldn't look, especially the way Shane's been drafting. I mean, you got Gio and Jordan Riley in the 7th round. So we give up a 7th rounder for Isaiah Simmons. I mean, that's you just look at Gio and Jordan Riley. They're not Hall of Famers. They're not all pros, but 7th round, not too bad. And that's what we gave up for next year to get Isaiah Simmons. So if you just let him walk away, you just let him walk away. You use him for one season, you let him walk away, and you gave up a nice draft pick that you could use on your roster. So hopefully that kind of forces Shane's hands to try to keep him. Be interesting to see now if he does have a nice season with the Giants, what he'll command. But that's next season. So, all right. So we got and speaking of Shane, right? I got 3,542 tabs open there. There we go. Giants tweaking. There you go. Daniel Jones. I mean, this came out like way early this morning. Man, I was like, yeah, really? I mean, that was one of the things is that where are they going to get some money? Actually, Patty Trainer, she went over Adoree Jackson, Graham Gano, and I can't remember who the other guy was, but it wasn't Daniel Jones who she was talking about. So the Giants converted $8.42 million Daniel Jones's base salary into a signing bonus Monday, and thus created $6.315 million in extra cap space. Prior to the move, the Giants were just $4.79 million under the cap, and only the Buccaneers and Raiders had less breathing room. So the additional relief is just operational. So this is just apparently what everybody seems to be saying is this just now we might have around 10 million. If you look at who do we got here? Spot Track, they got the Giants at 9.9 million, 9.925 million. So just about 10. They got the Giants are right around 10 million, but that should be pretty much for like operational costs for the season, taking guys up and down off the practice squad, injuries and stuff like that. It's shouldn't be like thought of possibly like them trying to make a big time move on somebody. You got to have some breathing space going into the season. So hopefully that, now we should have that, because there's nothing worse than that, not being able to bring guys up from the practice squad, or if you want to, because you can bring them up like the third time. I think you bring them up. I think then they hit the salary cap, but then of course they also talk about here some of the other contracts here that the Giants have. It is notable that Schoen opted to restructure the 4-year deal of Jones rather than the deals of defensive tackle Leonard Williams and Adoree Jackson. Both Williams' $32.26 million cap hit is the largest in the NFL for any non-quarterback. Holy cow. And Jackson's $19.08 million charge is the second largest on the team after Jones's restructuring dropped his figure. So both Williams and Jacksons are free agents after the season, so restructuring their deals could have pushed dead money into the 20. We already got some dead money in the 2024, but I guess he's trying to, lessen the amount of money that keeps getting kicked on down the road. So Jones's new cap hit now says $15.45 million. Now, if you look here, Daniel Jones, but the thing is that his cap hit is 15.435, but next season, okay, it's 47 million. 2025, it goes down to 41. Okay, but then, hopefully, this is where we start getting into this land, the land of the 2026s, right? Hopefully that's when maybe, everything, okay, he's still the quarterback of the future. We want to keep riding out with Daniel Jones, this, that, and the other thing, because, then they maybe add some time to his contract to hopefully take his 2026 cap hit down, which is $58.6 million. Whew, that's a big time hit right there. $58 million, actually almost $59 million. So, perhaps most significantly, the Giants want to cut ties with Jones after the 2024 season. The amount of dead money on 2025 salary cap increased from $18 million to $22 million. So if for some reason, all of a sudden he can't throw a football anymore, they can get out after 2024 with just 2 seasons. Now, of course, now the dead money would be $22 million now instead of 18, but I'm kind of thinking like if he threw the ball pretty well last year, there's a good chance he'll be able to throw the ball pretty well this year. I mean, unless something happens, like God forbid he gets like injured really bad and whatever, something, but I don't see him all of a sudden the clock striking midnight, he turns into a pumpkin. I think at least an improving offensive line, better offensive weapons, second season in the same system. You got to hope and pray the numbers should get even better. It says one of the team advantages of Jones' mega extension is that it allows the Giants a reasonable out after just 2 years if it turns out that the season's breakthrough was a fluke. So that's good. So at least they got some extra money now, which is cool. So they got at least enough now. Is there any more on Evans? Nah, not that I've heard of. No. I mean, some people were kind of thinking like, oh man, we got some, we got a little bit of breathe, we got some cap space. Now we can make a move for Evans, but I mean, said you got to have some money going into the season, definitely for, and I know last year we only had a few $1 million going into last season. I mean, I know that was one of the problems I think we had because we used to kept having Landon Collins on the practice squad. And they brought him up like 2 times, I think. And then because like the third time you bring him up, his salary then goes against the salary cap. And the Giants didn't have a lot of salary cap. So I think after the second time he brought him up, I think he was on the practice squad for a few weeks. And we didn't keep, we didn't bring him up there. And that might have been the reason why, because we didn't want to have it having a hit on the salary cap. So I mean, it gets pretty bad if you don't got enough money. You can't even bring guys up from the practice squad, to fill out the final 53 roster, So, I mean, so at least now the 10 million, the other thing it does, okay, is that just saying, see, now if we make a deal now, like for Evans, right? I think he's on the hook for like 23 million. The problem would be, as I was saying kind of before, the Bucs could maybe, basically maybe pay for a draft pick. They could go to the Giants. Well, hey, we'll eat 20 million. I'm just throwing numbers out there. I'm done. We'll eat 20 million of his 23 million. Just throwing numbers. I don't know my head from a hole in the ground, John. I'm just throwing numbers out there. If you give us a second round pick, we'll pay 20 of his 23. Right? You owe him 3. You got Mike Evans. We got your second round pick for next year. Right? If you give us a third, just throwing numbers out there, that's all I'm doing. Right? We'll pay 13 million, just saying, of a salary. So you give us your third for next year. We'll give you Mike Evans. Right? And you only have to pay him 10 million. Just throwing, you know what I mean? If it's straight up, we get Mike Evans. I saw an article. Somebody said to give the Bucs a 4th and a 5th for Evans. Okay, but then we'd have to come up with like 23 million. Unless somehow I don't know. I'm saying you get him and you restructure, you extend his contract out, and somehow maybe you could do something like that. But I mean, I don't know if we could just totally absorb his. Because then you'd have to maybe go into, like, as I said, maybe have to do something with Leonard Williams' contract, Adoree Jackson's contract. Oh, that's right. It was who was it? It was Graham Gano, Adoree Jackson, and Tyrod Taylor. Those are the ones that Patricia Traynor was talking about. Now, with Graham Gano and Tyrod Taylor, you could probably save like $5 or $6 million if you were to restructure their contract. But of course, then you have to add on a year or two to Tyrod's, and Tyrod's out after this season. So I don't know what the Giants want to do there. If they have visions of Danny DeVito. Every time I say that, I keep thinking of the actor, Tommy DeVito. I always say Danny DeVito all the time. Well, that's because I'm familiar with Danny DeVito since about 40 years now. So Tommy DeVito. I don't know if they have visions of Tommy DeVito being the backup quarterback next season or not, or if they want to keep Tyrod around. They certainly should, even though Graham Gano is like 35 or so, 35, 36. I mean, if his leg is still functioning, they should try to re-sign that guy. And then she was talking about Patty Train was talking about with Adoree Jackson, maybe, somehow doing something with his. Now, I said, I don't know what they plan on doing there. Oh, Taxi, man. Man. They don't make like that. Don't make them like that anymore. I'll tell you what. But I don't know, like with Adoree Jackson, because what's he going to want next year? Because then you got to start thinking of all this stuff, right? What's Adoree Jackson going to? Can we replace him in the first round next year? Possibly. Can we? If, and I'm just saying once again, if we got the season play out, how does Hawkins look? How does Banks? I'm sure Banks is going to be fine. You know what I mean? But can Hawkins, is he going to be okay? Is he going to make it? I mean, he doesn't got to be Deion Sanders, right? But can he be our second cornerback, right? So if not, then in the first round, can we replace, or second round, whatever, can we replace Adoree Jackson in the slot? Because you got to look, Adoree Jackson's up next season, right? Are we going to bring him back? Well, we're not getting him for $10 million, right? Leo the Lion, right? He's not on the Bucs for next season, right? What's he going to want? I mean, he's not, nobody's paying him $32 million, but he's probably going to want about 20. Figure somewhere around there, right? Xavier McKinney, right? I mean, what's he going to want? He's going to want at least 10, 12, 13, somewhere around there, I'm figuring. I don't know what their visions are about bringing him back. They want to see maybe, can he be healthy? Can he stay healthy? Because 2 of his 3 seasons, he's been injured. Let's see. Of course, as I said, then, Isaiah Simmons, right? What's he going to want? And then, let's not forget about Saquon's, right? He's not on the Bucs for next season either. So if we franchise tag him again, well, it's $12 million. So we got some money next season. Yeah, I know. I think Patty. Let's see here. That changed. That changed. Of course, that changed. All right. So that's it. There we go. All right. This is Spot Track. That's all I'm going by. Over the cap. If you go to them, they're probably totally different. So let's say 2024, the Giants. Okay, after they just readjusted with Daniel Jones's contract, the Giants have about $52 million next season in salary cap space. But out of the 52, right? I mean, you got your rookie class, right? And I said, if they bring back Saquon, Adoree, so. So we got some guys that if we're going to bring them back, they're going to cost some money. So, and I said, we could replace Adoree Jackson. I don't know what Leonard Williams is going to be expensive. And I said, if you just let Isaiah Simmons walk, you just gave up a 7th round pick. So it's going to be interesting. I said, don't forget about Saquon, right? Because it really be interesting to see. Now that the offensive line starts coming a little bit better, starts gelling a little bit better, right? We got the better weapons. We got Daniel Jones back there. Now it's going to be one of 2 things, right? It's going to be, everything just starts looking better and better. And, we may not need that quality of running back there. Can we get by with maybe another Brio or an Eric Gray or Brightwell or something like that? Or maybe we can draft somebody else, another 4th rounder, 3rd, 4th round running back, 5th round running back. Can we get away with that? Or does Saquon just freaking go off because you got Waller out over here taking 2 guys with him? You got Hyatt on the other side streaking down there. You got the safety over high over there. So it opens everything up, and then you hand the ball off to, they ain't putting 8 people in the box. I got no, the only time they're putting 8 people in the box is when we're at the goal line for it's 1st and goal at the 1. Other than that, they ain't putting. You stone cold crazy to be putting 8 people in the box against this offense. That ain't happening. Tell you what, Seattle might have done that last year, but that ain't happening this year. You put 8 in the box, yeah, you'll shut Saquon. Yeah, Saquon might have an off night, but Waller won't, or somebody. So that's going to open everything up, and with that, the stud that Saquon is, behind Daniel, you can hand it off to him. You might start having some holes that he's never seen before in his life. He might be like, holy crap! Look at that. That's a 4-foot. I ain't seen one of those about 3 years, baby. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do. But once again, that's at the end of the season. Hopefully he can stay healthy, right? Because, he could go off. Get less carries, less receptions, but, get as many yards as they did last year on fewer touches. That way, keep him fresher, All right. And, of course, then the Giants. Well, I guess, I guess to be the best or whatever, you got to beat the best. And the Giants, just because on paper, obviously, you still got to show it, right? And man, this just makes me sick. I look at this crap. Actually, my son and I went to this one game, and this started this streak right here. And this game just made me sick. I was just vomiting all over the place. We lost. It was the first. I think it was the first game of the season. My son and I went down to Dallas. We watched the Giants and the Cowboys play. It was on September 8th, 2013. The Giants had oh my God, they had a pick six back for a touchdown. They had what else did they have? They had like they have 5 or 6 turnovers. Let me check the scoreboard here. What this is the box score. Eli Manning, what do you have? He had 1 interception, but I know we had a bunch of. Is this the right game? No, it's the wrong game. The one in September 8th. Where the heck are we at here? What, 2013? There we go. I mean, this game was just, it was just, who we got here? Barry Church ran a fumble back 27 yards for a touchdown. And Brandon Carr ran a interception back 49 yards for a touchdown. The interception was absolutely unbelievable. So I can't remember who Eli threw the ball to somebody out in the flat. The guy, it was a bad throw. He stuck his hand out behind him, I think it was. The ball ricocheted like backwards right into Barry Church's, Brandon Carr's hand. He picked it off and ran it back. It was unbelievable. The possibilities of the ball come from Eli bouncing off the guy's hand almost like backwards to another. You got a better chance of winning the lottery instead of something. I can't talk about it. It was just frick. And then of course I'm sitting in the end zone, and that's where the guy ran. We had end zone seats, and it was just freaking hate that game. But let's see. All right, what did Eli have? Eli threw 3 interceptions. I know we lost a couple fumbles. It was let's see. Fumbles lost. The Giants lost 3 fumbles. We had 6 turnovers. The Cowboys had 1. We were -5 in the turnover. We just kept walking up and down the field. The only thing that stopped us was ourselves in this one game. It just -5 in the turnover department, and we only lost by 5 points. We lost 36-31 to the Cowboys on the September 8th, 2013. My son went home happy. I didn't go home happy. I can tell you that much. But ever since then, the Cowboys are 16-4 against us. 16-4. I mean, holy, so I mean, for us to open up underdogs, 3.5 point underdog, it's hard to argue with that. Really hard to argue with that, especially because we lost at home last year to Cooper Rush. Dak Prescott wasn't even a quarterback. And we're going to talk about Dak and just his dominance in just a second here. But, we lost at home to Cooper Rush. I mean, what do you want? So in order to be the best, you got to beat the best, and, we got to show that we can beat these guys. It says the Giants have opened up week 1 as a 3.5 point underdog for Sunday night's regular season opener against the Cowboys at MetLife Stadium. The over-under is 46.5. The Giants lost both meetings against Dallas last season. They've lost the last 4 meetings and 11 of the last 12, going back to the beginning of the 2017 season. But, I mean, we beat them before the 2017 season. We beat them 3 times in a row. But, yeah, we beat 11 out of the last 12 times, and 16 out of the last 20 we've lost home. The Giants have finished 10-8-1, including the playoffs. We're 14-5 against the point spread in 2022, which was the best in the NFL. In 8 of their 19 games last season, the total score went over. Dallas was 11-8 against the spread and finished at 13-6 with a 13-6 record. The under was 10-9 in their games last season. Well, I mean, obviously, if I'm a betting man, and I'll tell you what, I stopped betting a long time ago. I think it was 1990. Whatever the year the Braves and the Indians played each other in the World Series, I think it was 1997, I think it was. I bet I was making some money, some overtime where I worked at, and I only bet like $50. I never bet nothing crazy. But I think I won a couple times, but then I just kept betting and betting and betting. I lost 8 times in a row. That was about $400. But I'm starting to think, it's like, man, what are the odds? It's like calling a coin tails 8 times in a row. And every time he keeps coming up, what are the odds? Not real good. And you got to figure, right? It's like, betting wrong 8 times in a row. You got a 50-50 chance. Why? How can you not one of those times? I don't know what the odds are of losing 8 times in a row. It's not real. Odds aren't too good, right? Losing 8 times in a row. So after that, I'm like, I just stopped. I haven't bet since. Stopped betting. Will not bet ever again. But if I were a betting man, okay, I would take the Giants. The thing I like about that is it's 3.5. So if the Giants lose 27-24, which is possible, 24-21, 23-20, 30-27, if it's a little bit of a shootout, Giants cover. If it was 2.5, well, I mean, it might change. It's opening up at 3.5. Doesn't mean Sunday at 12 o'clock it's going to be 3.5. Right now, it's 3.5. I would take the Giants. I mean, if they're going to lose, they certainly could lose by a touchdown. Sure, if things go wrong or something like that, absolutely. You don't have no idea what's going to happen. That's why they play the football games, right? But I like the 3.5 because the Giants can lose by a field goal. They can lose by a point, lose by 2 points, and you still cover. So if I were a betting man, I'd take the Giants. But unfortunately, what I found in the past, right, is the only way to make money from me betting, right, is usually I'll bet one way, and the only way to make money is bet the other way. So, like, if I said so-and-so, I'm going to take the Giants, the only way to make money in the past would be for the other person to take Dallas, But as I said, I just feel, I feel like they said that, I wouldn't even be surprised, obviously be surprised if the Giants won. But, I mean, to give them 3.5, I'd take the Giants in that one. Then, of course, we got this good old Dak Prescott. Man. Dak Prescott looks to continue his dominance over the New York Giants. This is from Big Blog, SB Nation. Chris Haling wrote this here. And this is true. This is true, man. Straight on true. Dallas Cowboys finally play a meaningful football game on Sunday, September 10th. The team travels to New York to play the Giants on Sunday Night Football, open up their regular season. Cowboys playing the Giants on week 1 somewhat feels like a tradition at this point. Yes, it does. This will be the team's 5th time meeting on Sunday Night Football to open up the season, with the Cowboys winning all 4 of the previous meetings. I mean, it's just the NFC East rivalry hasn't particularly been close as of late, with the Cowboys winning 9 of the past 10 meetings against the team. Specifically, Dak Prescott has dominated the Giants when they play each other. Prescott holds a career record of 10-2 against the team in head-to-head games. Prescott has won the last 10 matchups against New York, with his last loss coming in his rookie season of 2016. To put that in perspective, when Prescott last lost to the Giants, current quarterback Daniel Jones was a freshman at Duke University. That's been a long time. There's this thing here. I say it's been 2,442 days since the Giants have beaten the Cowboys with Dak Prescott starting at quarterback. Holy crap. Not only has it been he had the edge in the win column, Dak has played extremely well. Yes, he has. In the games against the Giants. Over those 12 matchups, he's averaged 262 passing yards per game. Not too bad. 64.1% completion percentage. Not too bad. And a quarterback rating of 99.4. Prescott is hoping to extend that win streak to a dominant 11 games on Sunday, as the team is looking to start the season off with a win. With a tough schedule for the Cowboys in 2023 and the competition in the division against the Eagles, it will be essential that they win their division games this season. Well, it'll be essential the Giants win their division games this season too, because, the problem is with the Giants, they went 1-4-1 last year, and you go 1-4-1 again this season, right, in your division, and you're playing the AFC East, right, and you got to go up against the 49ers, and, man, you're asking for, and to try to make the playoffs again. That's going to be tough. So the Giants, they have one of those 4 games against the Eagles or the Cowboys. They have to win. Absolutely have to win one of those. You can't continue 4-1 in your own division, expect to keep making the playoffs. But it also goes to show you too. I mean, what we've seen is, sometimes faith just comes along, right? In 2007, right? We had a hard time beating the Cowboys, but we beat them in the playoffs and Dallas. That's why you play the games and all that stuff and everything. But I mean, for the most part, if you lose both games to the Cowboys and you lose both games to the Eagles, and then you go into the playoffs and somehow you expect to beat the Cowboys and the Eagles in the playoffs, you're asking for a bit much, especially on the road. So you have to, you got to show that you can beat at least one of them. Man. And once again, if we don't make the Super Bowl this year, we're trending up. Well, I guess that like the Dow Jones or the NASDAQ or whatever, we're trending up, right? We're going up. It's still a little bit of a project. Shane ain't coming in here in 1 year, whatever, and we win the next 13 Super Bowl. It's a project, So, but we're trending up, right? So we need to show at least this season that, hey, we can beat one of those guys. Because I think we really closed the gap on the Cowboys quite a bit. I think we closed the gap on the Eagles. I mean, I don't think the Eagles maybe necessarily got worse. I don't think the Eagles got better. The Giants got better. So if the Eagles were here last year and the Giants were off the screen, the Giants are with the Eagles. Giants are on the screen now, right? I think the Eagles probably pretty much, the Eagles got some guys, but they lost some guys, right? So I think they're pretty, but they lost their 2 coordinators too. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. But I don't think the Eagles got any better. I mean, I see all of these Eagle fans, in these groups and stuff like that. We have 99.9% of our players on defense are from Georgia. We're going to be the greatest defense of all time. And this, that, get the heck out of here. You know what I mean? So the Eagles are still without question, the best team in the division, without question. But I don't think they got any better. And, I certainly don't think the Cowboys got any better. So, I mean, the Giants, and not forget, the Giants were leading both those games last season, right, in the third quarter. And I certainly thought once Saquon took that one to the house, the 30, 35 yard or whatever it was, people freaking out in the stands, going bananas and all that. Then, of course, we let Cooper Rush score it was like 17 points in a row or whatever it was or something. It was like, but I thought we had that one. But once again, third quarter, both games, we had the lead. We got to finish. Got to finish. All right, and then finally here, what do we got? Oh, this is is it Nick Filato? Nick Filato. Yeah, tonight I'm going to go over. He's like, did the Giants close the talent gap, ranking the NFC East defenses position by position? So this is the defenses, and he does the offenses. I'll go over the offenses tomorrow, but this is the defense. That is pretty interesting what he has here. The defense, the interior defensive line. Sorry. Sorry. I'm trying to move my leg, and I'm kicking my dog, Randy. Sorry, buddy. Defense is why I got to agree with him here, without question. He said the interior defensive line, what he did, the top team he gave 4 points to, the second place team got 3, third place team gets 2 points, and the last place team gets 1. Now, this is what I like. He's got the Giants with 4. He got the Giants in first place. Can't argue with that. Sexy Dexy and a healthy Leo line, yeah, without question. He said the NFC East may have the best quartet of defensive lines in the league, especially with the trio New York, Washington, and Philly. Arguments for either of the top 3 teams to earn 4 points in this exercise are understandable. However, the top talent and depth of the Giants makes them the choice. Yeah, because we have Nacho and Ashawn Robinson too, and of course then we added Jordan Riley too, right, in the draft. Jonathan Allen and Daron Payne. Oh yeah, nice. Are an excellent stout duo who can rush the passer and stop the run. I go back and forth between the Commanders and the Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles still have to prove their immense potential. Fletcher Cox is older, but still better than any third option on Washington. Yes, I forget. Fletcher Cox, he's getting older. And Milton Williams is a productive athletic backup. There's more depth and upside on the Eagles. Yeah, without question. The Cowboys have a quicker, less bullying type of defensive line. First-round pick Smith is supposed to bring more physicality to the unit. I like Smith and believe that they have a couple good players, but they're clear fourth in the unit. So the Cowboys are fourth. He has them here. Edge defenders. Let's see, he's got the Cowboys. Now this is where Evan Neal's going to have to, obviously be on his P's and Q's Sunday night. He's got the Cowboys in first place with 4 points. The Eagles are in second place with 3. The Giants are in third place with 2 points, and the Commanders are in last place. Micah Parsons is arguably the best defensive player in the league. When healthy, DeMarcus Lawrence is a pass rusher who can take over games, as Evan Neal found out last season. Dallas is my easy one, which is saying a lot because the Eagles are a top 3 edge group in the league. Oh, yeah. Philadelphia had 70 sacks last season and added Georgia edge Nolan Smith to a rotation that consists of Josh Sweat, Hassan Reddick, and Derek Barnett. The Commanders and Giants are close. Both Kayvon Thibodeau and Azeez Ojulari have a lot to prove, but they also have a lot of potential. The addition of Carlos Boogie Basham gave the Giants their depth to pair with the versatile 290-pound Hottie Ward. Both Montez Sweat and Chase Young are very good football players if Young can stay healthy. Sweat is underrated as a talent, but Young is ailing from a serious knee injury. It's such a shame. We never really ever get to see the guy play healthy. It's just such a shame. Casey Toohill is an adequate rotational player, as is James Smith-Williams, but reports suggest Young isn't certain for week 1 because of a stinger. The guy's always hurt. Because of Young's uncertainty and recent serious injury history, Washington came in last. All right, then we got linebackers. There we go. Giants, he has him first place. Giants linebackers. So you got 4 points for the Giants. The Cowboys are in second place. They get 3 points. The Commanders are in third place. They get 2 points. And the Eagles have the worst linebackers in the NFC East, according to Nick Filato. They get 1 point. But he classifies Isaiah Simmons, a player who won't work and shouldn't start next to Bobby Carrick as a linebacker, which puts the Giants as the number 1 at this position. It's a little inexact since Simmons is more than just a linebacker and also not really a true linebacker. But that's the reality of a player that Simmons with a coordinator like Wink Martindale. Leighton Vander Esch is still with Dallas, along with 2022 fifth-round pick Damone Clark. They're a long physical unit with speed that ranks second in the division. Philadelphia has historically ignored investing assets into their linebacker room. Nakobe Dean fell to the third round in the 2022 draft. Dean looks to start next to Zach Cunningham. This still may be a very fun and respectable linebacker room, especially with the rest of the defense. Washington is last at linebacker. Jamin Davis hasn't fully blossomed or lived up to his first-round pedigree. Cody Barton was a hustle player for Seattle last season and looks to replace Cole Holcomb, who is now a member of Pittsburgh. Former Giant David Mayo, remember him, right, is the primary backup, Mike, linebacker for Washington. So the Giants are first. Cornerbacks. There we go. Got the Cowboys at number 1, so the Cowboys got 4 points. Eagles, second place, they get 3 points. The Giants are in third place. They get 2 points. And the Commanders in last place. They get 1. Dallas traded for Stephon Gilmore in the offseason to go along with the aggressive Trevon Diggs. But that means Trevon Diggs can get burnt. If he's over there with Hyatt and he's talking his mouth off, one wrong step, Trevon Diggs is in the toaster. They push it down and they duct tape the top of it. You know what that does to the toast, right? They duct tape so the toast can never kick up. The toast not only gets burnt, it'll catch on flames. The whole toaster will explode. That's what's going to happen to Trevon Diggs if he makes one wrong step. Gilmore's 32 years old, but was effective on a bad defense in Indianapolis last season. Lewis is a good option in the slot for Dallas, making the Cowboys' nickel package formidable. The Cowboys traded for former Miami first-round pick last week. So Philadelphia retained both aging corners, James Bradberry and Darius Slayton. Both players are still solid and expect to start on the outside. Avonte Maddox is perfectly fine option in nickel. Howie Roseman drafted Klee Ringo this past draft, who was once thought of as a top 10 pick. Roseman selected Ringo in the 4th round out of Georgia. Of course, where else all his defensive players come from, right? Georgia. Giants are concerningly young at cornerback. Yes, they are. But the ascension of 6th round pick Trey Hawkins III has been a pleasant surprise. Retaining Darnay Holmes on a cheaper contract as a nickel option provides depth if injuries do transpire. Cordell Flott is the primary outside backup. Nick McLeod is reportedly moving back to cornerback, which should help the room. Adoree Jackson is the best of the bunch and will likely take more slot snaps in if both the rookies, Hawkins and Banks, continue to improve. And also not to also forget that, he's going to be in the slot, especially Sunday night against the Cowboys, where ABCD Lamb usually likes to line up a lot in the slot. It says, I love Washington's young quarterback, Emmanuel Forbes Jr. and Jartavius Martin, who is projected to play in the slot with the 2021 third-round pick, Benjamin St. Justy. Still, I believe Adoree Jackson has more to offer than Kendall Fuller, so the Giants slide in ahead of the Commanders. All right. And then we have here safety. Got the Cowboys in first place, 4 points. Giants in second place, they get 3 points. The Commanders in third place, they get 2 points, and the Eagles get 1 point. So you see, all start looking, right? The Eagles at linebacker have the worst in the NFC East, and the safeties, right? So in the middle, that's where the weakest at. Okay. And then if you start thinking, right, with the Eagles, right, with their defense and all this stuff and everything, right? If Bradberry or Slay, one of those guys, some of the positions, they got like their line, their edge rushers, some of the spots the Eagles have, they got, they can just start, they bringing them in all out of the crowd. They're bringing 13 sack guys out of the crowd. They're all over the place, but they got certain spots where they're a little weak. And I said this many, many, many times my videos, because I despise the Eagles. What do we got? The inexperience in the secondary going up against Dallas receivers. Oh, yeah. Well, inexperience it is. Oh, yeah. I said, but with the Eagles is that they were the 4th, according to maingameslost.com. That's all I'm going by, right? They were the 4th least injured team last season. And I said this all, Jacksonville, they did a great job and blah, 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 all that stuff, right? They did it. They won the division and did all that stuff. But, they were by far the least injured team. Okay. Tennessee by far was the most injured team. And Tennessee, I think, missed the division by like 1 game or maybe 2 games or something like that. You reverse those. You make Jacksonville the most injured and Tennessee the least injured. Jacksonville's not winning the division, right? So, but they were by far the least injured team. But I was going back to the Eagles because I despise the Eagles. They did not have many injuries last year. They were relatively very healthy. But the injury bug starts creeping up on them. I said, like what Nick Filato was talking about. The safeties and the linebackers are not really super special there with the Eagles, and especially if they get some injuries there. But I said, but you start maybe dinging up maybe Bradberry or Slay or something like that, and they got to start bringing guys in for those guys. The Eagles aren't going to they don't look quite as special as they did last season. All right, so Nick Filato with the safeties. Cowboys defensive coordinator Dan Quinn has always invested in speedy and versatile safety options. Jaron Kearse will see a lot of Darren Waller this year. He's an exceptional coverage safety who is a physical, and Donovan Wilson is an underrated player who does a lot of Quinn's defense. When healthy, Malik Hooker has elite range as a single high safety in Quinn's cover 1 defense. The Cowboys have a very capable 3 safety set with diversified skill sets. Xavier McKinney may have the most upside of any safety in the division. His running mate, Jason Pinnock, has a ton of upside as well. He's very athletic and just 24 years of age. Thank you, New York Jets, right? Dane Belton joins Pinnock in the safety youth movement. Yep. Even though he isn't a starter, I wouldn't be shocked if Belton led the team in interceptions. Martindale needs a deep safety room since he runs so much big dime and quarter. Yep. And, it's not forgetting, a lot of times, something you might have three safeties. You could have three cornerbacks. You might have three safeties. You might take one of the safeties, walk them up in the box, right? Let's see. I have long been a fan of Cameron Curl's ability on the football field, and Derek Forrest, is a smart physical safety entering his third season. However, there isn't much behind those two at the safety position. I'm sure we'll see Jartavius Martin play a little safety, but for this exercise, he's classified as a cornerback. And then Terrell Edmonds joined the Eagles from Pittsburgh and will start next to Reed Blankenship, the undrafted rookie last season who played 292 snaps down the stretch of the year. The selection of Sidney Brown in the third round helps the safety room in many ways, but the Eagles lack top-end talent at this position. So, I mean, if you're talking, somebody that's got to stay over the top of Darren Waller, or somebody's got to stay over the top of Jalen Hyde or something like that, Eagles might be a little weak in that position, right? Especially if you can get Darren Waller maybe on one side, or Darius Slayton on the one side, Hyde on the other, right? And then especially if somehow you get, Waller going down the middle, occupying some people there, so they're a little susceptible in the middle there, the Eagles. So the problem would be, can the Giants offensive line keep Daniel Jones standing up long enough against the Eagles pass rushers? But let's see. So I put Washington slightly ahead of the Eagles. So that's why the Eagles are in last, according to Nick Filato, with the safeties. So his final thoughts. We got Cowboys have 16 points. The Giants have 15. The Eagles have 11, and the Commanders have 8. So according to Nick Filato, right, the Giants' defense is better, interesting, than the Eagles. And actually by quite a few points. He does have the Cowboys 1 point over the Giants. So the Giants are right there with the Cowboys as far as defense. So I said tomorrow, what I'll do, because he did a whatever, 2-part series or whatever you want to call it. So he did the offense and the defense. So I did the defense tonight. So tomorrow I'll go over what he did with the offense. Who he has the best, and all different position groups and all of that and everything. But it's going to be interesting. I mean, I said, I think with the Giants, with it being a 3.5 point underdogs, to me that makes sense, because the Giants they've retooled, not retooled, but they added to the roster. They got better and all, but it's just on paper. You got to go out there and play the games. And as I said, the Giants, 16 out of the last 20 times they've lost to the frickin' Cowboys. I mean, it's almost just as bad as like with the Eagles too. I mean, we have to take a step forward this year. We got to beat, one of those two teams. And also a lot of it's too, it's, Bob Papa says this a lot, right? It's not who you play, it's when you play them, right? And, who knows at the end of the season? I mean, you don't wish, obviously, injuries on anybody. You want your best against their best. But, it was a long season, 17 games. And we're playing the Eagles, the 15th and 17th games of the season, right? It's a long, long season, right? Anything can happen. By the time, the end of the season rolls around, who knows? The Giants could be totally decimated and the Eagles could be healthy. Therefore, the Eagles will probably beat us twice. Both teams might be healthy. And then we'll go head to head and we'll see, maybe we can beat them one of these times. The Eagles could be totally decimated by injuries. The Giants could be totally healthy. We should beat them at least once. Maybe we might beat them twice. So, so it's, not who it's when you're playing them, who's healthy or, look what happened to the 49ers last year. What were they on their 38th string quarterback by the time the Eagles banged up Purdy and all? I mean, they got their running back trying to throw passes and stuff. I mean, the Eagles can be a fantastic team. They can have everybody healthy, but they could be on their 5th string quarterback. Probably not going to happen, but you know what I mean? If they're on their 3rd string quarterback, they're going to have a hard time maybe winning football games, so it's not who you play, it's when you play them. So, but I said with the 3.5 point with the Cowboys, to me, that's fair. I would take the Giants Because if they lose by a field goal, they cover, right? They lose by 1, they lose by 2, they still cover. But, I mean, I don't have anything because Giants on paper got better, right? But that's paper. Paper is one thing, but beating them on the gridiron is something else. So it is what it is. Well, guys, it's been 3, 2, 1 hour. I've been shooting my mouth off for 1 hour. So always Jersey guys and Terrence. Good talking to you guys. All right. Good talking to you guys. I'll be back again tomorrow. Man, the days, what, we got 6 days to go. Tomorrow will be 5. Man, before you know it, we're going to be kicking off, guys. Absolutely fantastic. So, guys, great talking to you. Whoever spent any time checking me out, thank you. If anybody spends any time watching the replay, this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.